McLaren didn't favor one driver over the other yesterday when it came to strategy. At Sunday's Hungarian Grand Prix, Lando Norris took the race home, and he did so with a one-stop strategy. However, this was in fact an incredible nail-biter between himself and his teammate, especially when we got to the final couple of laps, so much so that my Apple Watch did clock my heart rate at like 103. The reason this race was both so close and so intense was because while Lando Norris was on a one-stop strategy, his teammate Oscar Piastri and current championship leader was actually on a two-stop. But that wasn't a choice from the team to favor one driver over the other. In fact, it was actually an adjustment by Lando Norris's strategy team after he lost 2 positions at the start. When we look at the Hungarian Grand Prix, we are usually looking at it as a two-stop strategy for most drivers. Last year at this race, only a single driver completed a one-stop strategy. That was Yuki Tsunoda, and he only went from P10 to P9. So someone running a one-stop strategy to win the race is a surprising one here. Part of that is because tire degradation at this race can be pretty difficult. We see a lot of drivers start out on the medium tire with the intent of stopping twice. A soft tire here is going to degrade incredibly quickly, and a lot of the reason why you see a two-stop strategy here is because this track has a high amount of downforce. It's very similar to Monaco, as well as a large amount of corners that are strung together without straights. On top of all of that, we usually have pretty high track temperatures here, and so that means to take a one-stop strategy, you have to be able to preserve those tires in a pretty extreme way. Lando Norris was not originally on a one-stop strategy. If you listen to both Oscar Piastri and Lando talk about their strategy at the end of the race, a one-stop strategy was really not discussed in their pre-race planning. Both drivers were intending to be on a two-stop, so why did we see Lando Norris switch to a one-stop? Well, most importantly, at the very beginning of the race, Lando loses 2 positions, and while he doesn't take too long to get that 4th position back from Fernando, that 3rd position looks like a very tough get with this two-stop strategy. And so as the race continues, the team notices that the tire degradation is not as bad as expected, and around lap 28, we hear over the radio that they are considering a one-stop strategy and ask Lando if they think he can do so. Lando, of course, says let's try it, and ultimately he manages to take that medium tire to lap 31. And then of course that means he has 39 laps to finish on one set of hard tires. And on top of that, he has to push those laps flat out, which is not a very great situation when you're trying to nurse your tires to such a long stint. Oscar also has this very large tire delta, which means that he should be able to lap faster and have better grip than Lando. Both sides of the McLaren garage did everything they could to adjust strategy to help their drivers win the race. And Oscar did make it all the way to the back of that car. But in Oscar's own words, there is a difference between catching the car ahead of you and actually being able to pass. This was a very skilled drive from both drivers, and the truth of the matter is strategy just ended up winning out here. And interestingly, it's a strategy that Lando probably wouldn't have run had he not lost those 2 positions at the beginning of the race. This brings our championship battle down to a 9-point spread between these 2 drivers, and it shows that both of these drivers are still putting up a fight as we go through the rest of this season. So let me know which of these 2 drivers you think is taking home the World Drivers' Championship.